All right, Abzan Reanimator. For people newer to Magic or not familiar with what Reanimator refers to, that is what we refer to as decks that take creatures and bring them back from the graveyard into play. So we've got Command the Dreadhorde here that can return a bunch of creatures from graveyards to play. We've got Finale of the Eternity, and then we've got Bell-Haunt, Jadelight, Knight of Autumn, and Wildgrowth Walker to kind of enable Command the Dreadhorde here by gaining us life back to offset the damage that we take from this. We also have Finale of the Eternity, which can be a split removal spell, but also a way to bring back a bunch of things in the late game. So let's dive into some matches and see how it goes. The Samut card that gives haste, I'm not sure if that's truly good or not, or if it's just a little bit too cheeky. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that, like, that's not actually good. I don't know, Average Joe. I guess the best way to answer your question is, do you think the Wanderer is a playable card on its own? Are other decks playing that card? Yeah, the fact that we have an Explore package means that the floor on, like, how bad our deck can be is probably still pretty high. Hey, look, Basic Mountain. Our Bell-Haunts and our Knight of Autumns are probably pretty good in this matchup. Hey, Waddles, thanks for the 9-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Why should we play Stitcher, Supplier? What problem does our deck have that you're going to solve by adding that card to it, Wildgrowth Watcher? This is the part where they Goblin Chain Whirler us and we cry silently. So this unfortunately can't trade in combat with Steamkin, but it can buy us a lot of time. It takes a card and it gains us a little bit of life here. We have Pyromancer and Lightning Strike. I think I'm going to block the Steamkin this turn, if only to make it so they can't use its mana. Because if I block and my opponent spends the counters off of this, this will die because it'll still have 3 damage marked on it. So I think if they want to attack with this, I'm going to go ahead and block. Alright, they're hip to that line and killing our Bell-Haunt proactively because of it. Deal. What? Yeah, so they missed a point of damage with their sequencing. If they would have lightning struck this, they would have just taken and that. Oh. Oh, opponent. Bit of a misstep on their part there. Drawing a land that doesn't hurt us here is really good. Got it. God-Eternal Oketra with Knight of Autumn and Harpooner as a follow-up should lock this game up. We're just going to close very quickly. This card's super good when you untap with it. Who knew? I think they're vigilance too, right? Yeah, they are. Audio bug. Audio bug. Dee 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 beep beep beep. Yep, Oketra. She's a beefy gal. Wow, I got a bunch of Othakayas. Sign me up. Mortify. Is this worth keeping in? It's probably not, right? Do I just like trim my top end? That seems reasonable. Just like have a bunch of random lifelinkers. Samut with Oketra is kind of funny, huh? Once we get in and keep our hand, I'll do a quick client restart so the audio stops being funky. Yeah, Samut's probably the card I'm interested in. I guess Finale is okay against all their 1 toughness things, huh? Seems like not amazing, but it's fine. These people are great. Buy or listen to their stuff. These people all so great. Buy their stuff. Back to your regularly scheduled Magic Arena. Is there a Gates upgrade coming up in the queue? Ooh, we drew a Wildgrowth Walker. You can always find all the decks that are coming up in the deck queue on my website here, Shame Spiral. There's enough things in there that I kind of lost track about what's where. Mighty Wanderer. Haven't caught you live in a long time, but I'm glad you posted everything to YouTube. Well, thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Have a sword for when you're here. I think I'm going to lead on this. I think... regardless of which of these I play, it's likely to die, so I think I'd rather lead on Kraul Harpooner and have that one die rather than my Wildgrowth Walker. Ideally, I'm going to play Wildgrowth Walker and Branchwalker on the same turn and get my 3 life right away. Gosh, we have 4 Sorin in our deck, too. This deck's red matchup is probably great. Unless we get Chain Warlord here, I'm pretty happy with our position. Now, if they have another Wizard Lightning, we get into a little bit of trouble here. Oh, that's a good draw. Oh, jeez. Sorin brings back the Wildgrowth Walker after it dies. That's awesome. This deck probably has an unrealistic mono red matchup, which is great. I like stuff in the red deck in a box. Oh no! Oh no! Will do, Shame Spiral. Thanks for the support. That being said, they didn't cast either of their light up the stage cards because of that. So seems good. Yeah, we're definitely a little bit ahead at the moment.
What a mess I've made.
Oh, that was a Rekindling Phoenix. His +2 cannot hit creatures. This might be a little aggressive, but I feel like I'm pretty far ahead. And I just want to, like, churn through whatever crap is on top of my deck.
You should fear those born of darkness. The weak feed the strong.
How many lands are in this deck? 25? Yeah, that's probably about right.
You're working up my appetite.
Wow, they had 3 Phoenixes in their hand at one point. We're at 26.
Do not provoke me. Vampirism is a useful trait.
30. Nice. Nice mono red deck. Have I ever ended up cutting a land from a viewer submitted list? I don't think so. I don't think so. Bell-Haunt and Sorin literally shoved that guy in a box and threw him in the ocean. Pretty much. Creatures you control have haste. Target creature gets +2/+1 till end of turn. Is this really a card I want to play? There's no way this card is good, right? Can I just, like, play another Oketra? This card seems busted. And, like, another Branchwalker. You don't cast it, you revive it with command. I guess. Oh, my mythic wild cards were running low. Yeah, like, I only have, like, 2 bows as, like, a way to cheat it into the bin. How's that? Our deck seems to be pretty good against mono red. Mikey. I would love to keep this hand. Yeah, I get everybody that's talking about the Wanderer. Here's the question I have for you. Have any of you ever seen the Wanderer in a constructed playable deck? The answer is no, because that card is kind of low in terms of the card quality that it offers. So that would require me to put an individually weak card into my deck. And that's one of the reasons why I think this deck seems somewhat reasonable, and why the reason why I cut Samut is because having the average power level of the cards that I'm playing be high makes my deck better on average. Actually stay there, right? We'll kill both of these next turn. Well, I guess they're gonna have a dragon here too. Why didn't I Harpooner to draw out the burn? Because there's no guarantee my opponent wants to kill a Harpooner with a burn spell. Let's do this before they get their hand empty. Finale does not kill. Finale is toughness, not converted mana cost. Back note, thanks to 11-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Well, I mean, Finale of Eternity is one-sided. That is an upside that it has. Land. I think we're good here. What does land next turn do for me? I mean, believe it or not, Street Kings, people also post lies on the internet. So, like, don't believe everything you read on Reddit. Also, variance goes both ways, right? Like, someone could have a good run with a deck that's not actually good, right? I think I agree that these Finale of the Eternity seem kind of mediocre. Like, the odds of getting to 12 mana with this card is pretty unreasonable, especially in a deck that doesn't have any acceleration in it, right? Like, maybe if we had Incubation Druid, getting to 12 could be potential, but even then, it's pretty unlikely to happen. See, I don't think this card is good enough. It's definitely not good enough as a 4-of to hit just like 2 or 3 things. Like, again, there's a reason why if people are playing copies of this card, it's just a couple. I mean, like, why do I want to ramp? What am I ramping to? Like, to get a God-Eternal Oketra out sooner, I guess? Like, what's the appeal of having ramp in my deck? What's the end game, if you would? Yeah, that makes sense, Ghost. Also, I mean, like, another thing, too, that I think even not just new players, but experienced players have to adjust to. Ender, thanks to 8 month 3 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Like, something that I think a lot of people just don't, or, like, fail to think about a lot of the time is, like, one tournament with a deck, right? Like, one tournament with a deck is really not that many matches. In fact, an entire tournament with the deck is less matches than I play here in a day on average a lot of the time. And a lot of people tend to, like, put stock into a deck doing well in a tournament when in reality it's like, well, like, there's a good chance that, like, this deck just, like, had a good run. It might not even be good. He lands at this point, right? Hey, CJ Fowler, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. Hopes life's treating you well. Thanks for keeping me employed this month with that. I think I want to play the bow this turn and hold on to the Jadelight Ranger for post Oketra. A straight green-red deck probably going to have a pretty hard time taking my 3-6 off the table. There's a good chance I get to untap with it. Box of shoes with the 6 months of Prime support. Welcome back. Oh, you know what? I played the wrong land on turn 4. I should have played Temple Garden rather than Godless Shrine. Because now, if I draw a second Jadelight Ranger, I don't have quad green, so I can't cast it next turn. Yeah, I agree. Arkbow plus the God-Eternals is very good. Because you just always get, like, even if they manage to kill my God-Oketra here, which is unlikely for their green-red deck to be able to do, the Arkbow next turn is just going to...
Feel the lick of my flames.
I'm just going to stuff him back in a box. Gosh, I guess if they have a Hellkite, I'm actually dead next turn. No, Game Nights is officially affiliated with Wizard of the Coast, Sans Serif. And I don't get invited to anything that's officially affiliated with Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, the fact that there's a bow on here and there's no reach involved is real sad. Wait, did they think this has reach? Not all of them Wildgrowth Watcher. In fact, we've played builds on stream that have both Sarkit and Hellkite in them. A lot of them don't play 4 Hellkite anymore.
Are you ready?
Yep, can't block. Why am I blackballed by Wizards of the Coast? Because I'm not afraid to be critical of them when they make decisions that I think are not good. Thanks, Fowler. I appreciate it. Let's try again. So far this kind of just feels like a clunky mid-range deck. Our skin, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. for keeping me around. What's the last WotC event you've ever been invited to? I was technically invited to play in their pre-release streamer event for RNA. And then they were very upset when I said I was disappointed that they were only allowing best of one in that. They were upset that I used the word disappointed on Twitter. That's how silly this is. They literally cited a tweet where I used the word disappointed and was like, this isn't okay. This makes you a liability. I was like, oh, all right. Correct. Yeah, that's why it was so weird to me. Is because I'm 28. I've been playing Magic for a decade, and I've been doing stuff in the pseudo public eye for the last 6-7 years now. In my early 20s, I was a bit of a dick more than a few times. So if they would have just cited something I did 5 years ago, and they're like, you're radioactive, we can never work with you because you were a dick here, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, I guess I get it. But they cited I said I was disappointed in a tweet as being something that wasn't okay, and I was just like, oh, so you're actually just unreasonable. I get it. Oh, Priest of the Forgotten Gods. It's gonna be a tough one. We don't really have removal in our deck, right? I just have to try and play through this, and Legion War Boss plus Priest is really a tough nut to crack without removal. It's any creature here plus Legion War Boss lets them run it down. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Arkskin, I get what I need from the community. The community's very gracious and supports me. And, Wizards of the Coast knows I'm here making stuff regardless of their support, right? So, they don't really lose much by, not working with me. Yeah. There was the Owen thing. There's the players who have been DQ'd for cheating. The MPL's been kind of a hot mess for WotC so far. Wow, that's good. Are we dead? I'm feeling pretty dead here, chat. This domes us for a bunch next turn. We haven't heard anything about official after the last whatever it's called, the Mythic Championship. They've not rained down anything from on high about what happened. I mean, to be fair, Stormbreath Dragon, once upon a time, I deserved a lot of the flack that I got. And there's a lot of people out there who they don't accept that people can change and be different. And that's okay, It's at the end of the day, I am who I am. It'll be okay. There's that big Lebowski quote, right? You're not wrong, but you're still an a-hole. And for a long time, I thought being right was the only thing that mattered, and that's definitely not the case. I mean, we really haven't been casting many Explorer creatures halfway insane. So if you have like a specific instance where you think we should bin something, I might not bring it up, but like, I don't feel like I've had Explorer creatures and like had a decision to make and made the wrong one. Better to be nice than right. Now, see, I disagree with that. But there's, to say that it's like black and white, like you have to be rude to be right, it most of the time isn't correct. I think I'm blocking this. I think I just don't want this to get to 3/3 here. Tapped lands. Welcome back, Champion IRL. Thanks for keeping me around. You still participate in STG at all? Not really. They're not in the Midwest too often anymore, which is where I'm at. And a lot of the time, if I'm going to travel to, if I'm going to spend the weekend playing Magic, I'd rather just stream because, like, this is guaranteed to make revenue for me, and, like, traveling to play Magic is not. Yeah, something that I've struggled with as a person too is that, and this is something that really is really tough on platforms like Twitter, is the tone of voice. A lot of people spend more time worrying about how you say something than what you're actually saying, which as a person to me I find very frustrating, but it's something that maybe I'll eventually figure out. Why is this like, they're like, well, that's not, it's like, well, you said this. It's like, well, it's not actually what I said. You put words in there. It's like, it's tough, right? I find it tough at least, but maybe I'm less bright than the average bear. You can have my money. Thanks, Pinky. Twitter is pretty awful, to be fair. Twitter is mostly full of people that are looking to find the one thing you said out of a bunch of other things and take it out of context and light you on fire for it. I stopped using Reddit at the end, or I stopped posting on Reddit. I still use Reddit for news articles at the end of last year, and that made me a happier person. And then I stopped using, thanks for the gift, Punchworthy. And most, thank you for the 11 months. The Diamond 4 rank floor and I are intimately familiar. And I gave Christy my Twitter. I gave Christy the keys to my Twitter account like 2 months ago now, I think. And that's been a welcome change. Which, BT dubs, if you're tagging me in things on Twitter, I'm not going to be responding on Twitter anymore for the most part. Occasionally I see something and have her respond, but for the most part, my Twitter is just a brand account these days. Post deck lists of the day and random sponsored stuff. SCG Minneapolis. Yeah, I played Jeskai Fairies in the Modern Tournament on the second day. No worries, Pinky. We'll be here. And you subbed for over a year, Pinky, so you've got the mod sword. So you're going to be able to be here and chat regardless of your situation. I appreciate all you've done. No, there will not be, Topto. Life's too short to spend time doing things that only make you miserable and anxious. Twitter, it makes you miserable and anxious. That's basically the tagline for Twitter. Do you pay her as a social media manager? There's some good tax loopholes that way. Alright, so they're probably... And again, like, I can't even kill these things, right? Because they're just going to fart this. And I can't attack. Is Jeff rich enough to avoid... I am not rich enough to avoid paying taxes. There are studies that show more social media results in higher dissatisfaction, anxiety, and depression. I believe that. Well, I have an Oketra, but now I have a bunch of non-creature cards in my hand for whatever reason. I have removal that can't kill a 6/6 and a 3/5. On the surface, the synergies of the Command the Dreadhorde with the various creatures that gain life looked cute on paper, but in reality, this deck just feels very disjoint. Like the pieces don't really come together. I think a big part of what makes social media so tough too is that, like, especially platforms like Twitter and Reddit, they're not really social platforms, right? They're people hiding behind screen names. And in my experience, the people that are like the most rude and obnoxious and offensive are the ones that aren't attaching their name to things, right? Like, you take a normal person and you give them complete and total anonymity and freedom from repercussion of their actions, and they turn out to be actually a pretty nasty person, right? They've got a lot of nasty stuff bottled up inside them. Things that they would never do or say to people in the real world, but they're emboldened when they're behind a keyboard and nobody can do anything negative to them to make them take responsibility for the things they've done or said. Really, really brings out the worst in people. Can I get that? You know, it's like the saying, right? You are who you actually are is what you do when no one's watching. And like things like Twitter and Reddit let people be who they are when no one's watching in a public setting, basically. Hey, Brian, thanks for the 35 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And again, I just don't have any way to make creatures with my Oketra here. Twitter is God's punishment for our invention of the internet. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I'm kind of off this deck. I'm gonna move along. This deck just feels really disjointed, and I feel like even when all of our stuff comes together, it's not really doing anything inherently very powerful. This Finale of Eternity as a removal spell just feels really clunky and awkward. I feel like this card could be like okay against mono white aggro and maybe red in some situations, but generically in the format, there's enough really big chunky creatures that this is just not